Hi, my name is Charlotte Ameringer, and I'm the conservator here at the Portland Art Museum. I'd like to welcome you to this series about the conservation of Claude Monet's Waterlilies. Over the coming months, I invite you to join me as we go behind the scenes, where you'll learn a little more about the painting, why it needs conservation treatment, and how the treatment is done. At the end, we'll show you the newly devarnished painting and how conservation has breathed new life into Monet's masterpiece. For me, I think of conservation really as access. So my job is to ensure that this generation, as well as future generations, have access to the works of art that are collectively held by the museum and more broadly by cultures. There's the hands-on part of conservation where I'm actually physically interacting with the work of art, and there's the hands-off aspect of conservation, which more broadly is preservation. The job of the conservator is to slow down the aging process as much as we can by controlling things like temperature, humidity, light, storage conditions. There are a number of reasons why an object might need conservation treatment. One of the categories is when something has sustained physical damage. It falls off a wall, or something bumps into it, or something is spilled on it. And at that point, it would come to the conservation studio for treatment. The other reason is just the natural aging process of the different components that make up a work of art. Much like ourselves and like almost anything that exists in our world, paintings are made of organic materials that are going to change over time, as well as to conserve the physical aspects of a work of art. So I think many people might be familiar with a painting where the varnish has become really yellowed or darkened, and so that varnish then would be removed because it's changing the way the paintings look and changing the way we look at the colors within that work of art. When I arrived at the museum 2 years ago, one of the first things that I was asked to do is to take a look at the collection and come up with a list of paintings that I thought would benefit from conservation treatment. And one of the paintings that I kept coming back to was the Monet Waterlilies painting. And the reason that the Monet needed conservation treatment is because it has a synthetic resin varnish that was applied to it in 1960. Since 1960, we've come to understand a lot more about the aesthetic values of the Impressionists, and Monet in particular, and have come to understand that starting in the 1870s, he was pretty adamant about the fact that his paintings should not be varnished. Monet is on record, and there are written sources that he did not wish his paintings to be varnished. So the varnish on this painting is really inappropriate. And what a varnish does is it saturates colors. So instead of having this beautiful pastel-like, very matte surface that has these beautiful plays of light and very subtle color tonalities, the blues and the greens and the other colors, they're deeper, they're richer, they're more prominent, and that whole very subtle interplay of tones doesn't exist anymore and has been amped up in a way that was purposely not wanted. My goal for the conservation treatment is to remove that varnish coat. It's important to say that the painting will never look like a painting that has not been varnished, but it will look much closer to what Monet intended it to look like. There are many rewards to conservation, and I think the biggest is just giving the painting back its voice so that it can be the best version of itself that exists in this moment in time.